Hi everyone, this is Professor DiMaggio's Gaming, and today we're going to be looking at strategies for dealing with extremely defensive players. Some of this has to do with certain characters that just lend themselves to a defensive orientation, like Giles, and some of it has to do with the individual player and their specific play style. So we're going to be looking at like a Guile here who's pretty much, that character is known for a turtling sort of play style. And then we're going to be looking at a Mai as well, who plays a certain play style that I refer to as bulldog turtling. Hopefully this is helpful for learning how to play against defensive players and characters. So dealing with different defensive play styles here, we're going to look at a match with a Mai, who has a very particular type of play style in this match. For lack of a better term, I use the word bulldog turtling here. What you're going to notice with this player is that it looks like they're playing really aggressive, sort of bulldog style, where they're coming at you and they're pushing a lot of buttons, but they're really not actually playing aggressive. They're really sort of turtling in the sense that they're trying to bait you every single interaction by pushing a button, pushing a button, pushing a button, and getting in your face over and over, and making it look like they're going to do something. And so then they let up the pressure a little bit, and you start pushing buttons, and they're just waiting for you to make some kind of mistake. And they're going to punish it. And so the reason why this becomes so frustrating after a while is because you feel like they're not actually playing you. They're just playing to bait the entire time. And baiting is certainly an important part of playing Street Fighter. But if like every single interaction is an attempt to bait somebody, it feels like somebody's really just not playing you at all. They're just playing. They're not playing like a footsies type game where they're trying to connect on actual combos, and each button is being pushed in good faith as an effort to try and connect to more moves in a combo string. So they're really not doing that. They're really just sort of trying to get you to do stuff and punish it. And by getting in your face over and over, it gets more and more frustrating. And you sort of see this here. So she's got the jump forward and the kick, and then she moves back and then moves forward again, right? Let's see that again. Jump, jump, kick. I block, then moves back, then moves forward. They want you to push a button so that they can punish, right? And so I push a button, and she punishes. And so this is how the bulldog play style works. Like, you're not actually playing aggressive, rush down like a bulldog. You are turtling in the sense that you don't really want to do anything. You just want me to do stuff so that you can punish it the whole time. And again, that's fine. Like, if you're going to push a button as part of a larger combo, right, and damage, cool. But what usually happens here is they're just poking, 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 poking over and over, trying to get you to make a really big mistake so that they can have free combo damage after and not have to put themselves out there at any risk. So you see the walk back there right after the hits. This is classic sort of bulldog stuff. And they throw a fireball. Then they come back in. Then they block, right? And now I take the bait because I don't really realize till I get punished here who I'm actually playing. This is classic sort of bulldog stuff. They get you to do a drive reversal. Now that's negative. And then they've got to punish, right, and do a combo. They take you to the corner. They're hitting you with their poke, 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 right? I jump out. Another block as I try to drive reversal, and another punish, and do a drive impact, and do a free combo. So that's classic bulldog turtling style. You're not actually playing the person and what they're doing. You're just trying to bait over and over and over and over. And it looks aggressive because they're in your face, but it's really an extremely defensive play style. So this stuff is really frustrating to deal with. As you can sort of see here, I'm trying to respond, and eventually you get to the point where you're just frustrated. Like, you just do like a wake up super or something like that because you're getting annoyed, and of course the person's waiting for you to make these mistakes, and this is part of the game plan. They're going to punish that too, right? Or they're going to try to, and they do. So how do you deal with this? The simple way to sort of explain this is that you don't sit there and wait for them to push a button and then react to the button. What you need to do in order to beat that playstyle is you need to become more aggressive. You just need to be aggressive throughout the whole time. So you'll see I jump in with the kick like she did in the first round, more pressure, EX Cyclone into the Light Mixer Enhanced, more pressure on top of it. Now I've got her in the corner. You're not going to necessarily get everything you want. For example, I tried to do drive impact there, and the player parried. And you're going to make mistakes if you become aggressive, but I think the point is that they're going to start making mistakes too. So the idea is by being more aggressive, by being in their face, you're not going to allow them to play the kind of game that they want to play. And eventually they're going to make enough mistakes that you can punish them too. So, they're pushing buttons and I got a drive impact in there. That's a good example of a, mistake this person's made. They're just pushing buttons at that point and I'm able to capitalize on it with a drive impact. More pressure, right? Now, again, you're going to make mistakes in making pressure like there. Going for the EX mixer, right? For someone who likes to block a lot is obviously a mistake. And, that's just sort of the fast-paced nature of playing more aggressive. You're going to make some mistakes. In this match, I was lucky enough in the second round that enough went my way in terms of playing aggressive, activating the level 2, even more pressure, pushing them to the corner, that I was able to take this round and bring it to a round 3. So you can see that here, more pressure, strike throw mix up. They did do a nice throw tech there, so that didn't connect. But, again, the point is, if you keep pressuring long enough, you're going to have some luck here. So I got the throw in, some EX cyclone, or EX shot pressure, and then the medium punch in the corner to finish off. You'll notice by the end of the third round here coming up that this tables have sort of turned a little bit by being a lot more aggressive from the very beginning, as you can see here, and doing sort of throw strike mix up, combination of EX shot pressure and do more pressure after, using some drive impact with a punishment after. You end up flustering the person, right? Now they're dealing with all that pressure, right? And so you can do things like, more pressure. They're going to be making mistakes. For example, the drive reversal there that I can then punish with a nice sort of sizable combo damage there. And so again, by the end of this match, you can see, I've got the charge shot into the enhanced mixer, into more damage after, and it's a perfect match on my side. Perfect win for the last round, at least. Now, some types of defensive players are going to be totally different in terms of how you deal with them. In the case of playing a Guile who actually knows how to play the character, you have to play that kind of defense totally differently. You're going to see with most Guiles, they're going to be holding down back most of the time. So, that automatically means that you can't be jumping all the time because they're just going to punish you with a flash kick. So in this particular case, you do want to keep pressuring. You do want to keep trying to poke at them and push different buttons. So when I say you want to be really careful about jumping with Guile, sometimes you can actually do it as you saw there. Usually this is not a great strategy if you're doing this regularly, because with jumps you're just going to get flash kicked. But if you're close enough and you're actually pressuring them with buttons, like I was doing there, sometimes you can actually bait them into throwing a flash kick, and they'll throw the flash kick and you'll jump to the other side like that, right? That's part of a sort of bait against the Guile. And you can actually punish that because they'll miss with the flash kick. If they're getting pressure and they push the flash kick motion delayed and you've already started the jump, right? Oftentimes you'll actually get away with them missing and then you get to punish. Now, I don't think that you should do that sort of regularly, but among many, many other different types of strategies playing against Guile, sometimes trying to bait out some of his flash kicks in various ways, whether it's with a fake jump like that, a fake cross up, or other types of moves where you do a fireball into a run and then you sort of block and try to bait out a flash kick. Like, these are techniques that, when combined with a lot of other different things that you're doing against Guile in a ground game, can be a little bit useful. But yeah, basically, you're going to be playing a ground game here without relying on a bunch of jumping because you're just going to get shut down with Guile. And he's waiting there in crouch mode if you do try to drive impact too, that he's just going to be able to counter that. So that first round didn't go very well for me, but you can see, sort of looking at the rounds moving forward by playing this ground-based strategy. Okay. Jump a little bit like I did there, but try not to rely on it too much. So I tried the EX mixer there. didn't have any success, figured they might have pushed a button there, understanding I was going to be negative. Uh, but you keep the pressure going, mostly on the ground. So you have a throw there, you've got a level 2, he tries to nullify the level 2, didn't actually do it at the right time, so I get massive amounts of sort of free damage there. The hard cyclone at the end roll into the throw. That is vulnerable to being jabbed out of, so you want to always mix that up after the roll with a jab, between a jab and a throw. So if they don't know which one's coming, then it opens up your throw game for you. So this one's gone 1-1. Watching it a little more closely going into the final round. Some interesting stuff here worth noting. Got some basic zoning here between both of us, throwing fireballs, parrying. He's got some good pressure going now. I did manage to get a drive impact because he was throwing a projectile. That, I think, is really key. One of the things you need to be willing to do with Guile. You need to, when you do connect, have situations where you can bait them. So in this case, you've got the jump hard kick, the standing hard kick, the medium mixer. Now I'm going to drive rush. Now this character knows with drive rush, I'm going to be going for either a throw or an overhead hard punch if they know Rashid, because they know that either one of those is meaty here. So let's see that again. Into the drive rush, right? But see, the thing is, I already know how Guiles are going to play because they like to do their flash kicks. The character has 2 moves. He's got a sonic boom and he's got flash kick. So you don't have to be a genius to know what's probably going to be coming here. And so you bait it, right? And then you get your punish. Now, of course, that doesn't sort of take into account that some people can't be conditioned, right? So he's just going to do it again the second time. And there's really not much you can do about that. You have to sort of hope you can condition a character to open up your offense a little bit by punishing them. But sometimes people just aren't going to get the message, right? They're just going to do whatever they want to do. And so you've got to sort of factor that into the game as well. But the baits actually, that just means the baits become that much more important, right? So I've got pressure here and the shimmy, trying to bait him to do a throw or push a button. And so you just got to do that more and more and more when you're dealing with a character like a Guile in order to beat him. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful in terms of helping navigate some of the different play styles out there, and look for more of these videos soon.